Hi Commanders, Commander Walsanda here. I have been doing a lot of colonization lately, and it's taking up a lot of my time, so I haven't had much time for doing YouTube, although I have done a few videos on that, and I may put them into a YouTube video at some point in the near future. I did have to do a couple of CGs in order to get some enhanced cargo racks and some pre-engineered cargo racks. That's for 5, 6, 7 and 8 class modules. They're now fitted into my Panther Clipper, which I can now have fully kitted out for cargo racks with 1,302 tons of cargo each trip, which helps enormously with the colonization. I'm going to go over a message I received a couple of days ago from Professor Raddix, which led me off onto a chain of events that has led me to this communication beacon that we're now looking at. And I'm in Col 359 sector AN 894, and that's the name of the system. The comms beacon I'm looking at is here, but I'll get to this at the end of this trail. So before going any further, I'll have to say that there are there's a complete spoiler in this, in decoding a number of the messages as we go through this. So if you're trying to do it yourself, please stop now and only come back if you are struggling to solve it and want some more help, or you don't intend to do it anyway. I'm going to start with the first message, I think. So, you see I've had a few messages, but we'll start. This is the first message I received on the 30th of August. That's to help find Frank Raddix's student. And this is just a straightforward, go to the system in Col 285 sector TXAB154, which is in the text here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Or did, rather. So I hightailed it over to the system, found a comms buoy there. There were a lot of other carriers and distractions, so as I went through this, I found it much easier to go into the filters and to filter on points of interest, so that you get a communications beacon. Can't use it all the time, but most of the time we are looking at communication beacons, and therefore you can find them very easily. Having gone to the first system, found the communications beacon and scanned it, I got this message, which at the bottom there you'll see some binary codes. And what I then did was to put this into a spreadsheet, which I'm going to show you now, because it'll give you an idea of what I did. So, what you will see here, ignore the rest for now, but the first puzzle, I put the codes in as written in the message. I then tried to decode them. I turned them into numbers, so the binary of 01000110 is 70, and then I translated that into ASCII, thinking I might get a message or a system or something. That didn't work, so then I thought, well, I wonder if the word where it says a mirror would come in handy would be useful. I reversed the binary numbers, translated them into decimal, and that then gave me an ASCII code of Birabla, and I thought, well, that might be a system, so I looked for it. It wasn't. So then I translated it in, mirrored it again, so that it reversed it, Albarib, and thought, is that a system? It turned out that it was. In the meantime, I'd had this message, which is from Professor Raddix. Not quite sure whether it's supposed to mean something, but it didn't mean anything to me. However, when I got to Albarab, I found a crashed ship at the site Z2A-4, and this message came as a result of scanning that ship. So you can see in the middle of this there's some gobbledygook. It says this is a two-stage encryption and use the ship as the key. The ship name Z2A-4, I thought we'll take that then. I'll show you the spreadsheet again. This is now puzzle 2, and you'll see here I've put the puzzle 2 in along here, which is the gobbledygook, and it goes along to there, and to the right of it I set out numbers 1 to 26. I'm not quite sure how the spaces got in there, but never mind. So 1 to 26, and A to Z, and then I reversed the letters, so Z goes to A goes to Z, and everything in between. And when I tried to use that code, it came up with gobbledygook. So what I then did was think, well, okay, maybe that -4 is a -4. So what I did was to move the letters down 4 places. So A went to Z, now goes to D. B went to Y, now goes to C, because we've effectively moved all of the numbers down so that instead of Z being at the first of the alphabet, it's now at the 5th of the alphabet. It's moved 4 places, and and then that goes from Z to E, and then D, C, B, A goes 1, 2, 3, 4, so that it fills in the space. Having done that, this, by the way, is what's known as a Caesar cipher, where you move the letters around. I only found that out by looking it up, by the way. But anyway, what that meant was when it decodes, you get Tarat, Moon, Prospect, and that Tarot turns out to be a system. There is a Moon 1A there, which has comms beacon near Moon Prospect surface port. So I travelled out to surface port, scanned that beacon, and now you'll see the next message. There's another code here, which is now in numbers, and what I did with that code, again put it into the spreadsheet, again got it to work it out for me. I had to code this obviously, but there you go. So putting the numbers in and literally translating them using this same, it's called a pivot table, but the same list here. So 1 to 26, A to Z, and doing that for this puzzle 3, the numbers gives us Ziriano. And I must admit, I thought at first that was an error, but it actually turns out to be a system. The listening post was 12k away from the main star, so I headed out there using the SCO obviously, and read the message for the next clue. So What we do is we go into the right hand menus, go to the codex, go to the knowledge base. We want the 6th one down, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, generation 6, and the 5th paragraph. Now the 5th paragraph here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, talks about the Golconda, which is in system Apanaclis, something like that. So I'm betting that we go to that system, and that's what I did. We had a message in the meantime from from Professor Raddix. Doesn't really tell us a lot, but then get to the beacon, read it. This time Terri is telling us that she's encrypted a manifest that we will need to decrypt. Okay, so she's mentioned a student, Vigenere, something like that, and has put doubt in some words. So if in doubt, your student Vigenere has the key. So it took me quite a while to work this one out, but in the end I realized, I used Google actually to look up the fact that in reality it's another cipher, and it's a cipher that I needed to download. I think I downloaded the cipher from the University of Denver. It was a website I thought I could trust. So using their decoder, I managed to decipher the code, and as you can see here, that gave me 5 of the manifest's locations. I checked each of these and they turned out to be systems, and I put them in order because each of them had a number following them, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. I put them in order, so I reckoned that the order would be Nakamba, Graphias, Vodiakamana, Marfik and Apanaclis. So that I reckoned was where the ship was going to go, but that's about all I knew at this stage. So back to the messages. As it said, according to the manifest, it should restart a new run on the 31st of May at 1800. So based on that, I knew I needed to be in Nukamba at 1800. I found a ship called the Cygnus and was trying to read it when I had to go out, so I had to come back the following day. By the following day, the ship had moved, and I found it in Graphias, and then found the data link and scanned that, and this is what it gave me. So you can see on the screen now the full manifest, and it says rendezvous with the Orion on completion. So this message was received from Frank, gives us a bit more information on what we might be encountering. At this point he gave me a reward of 40 million credits, so I did think that the trail had run out at this point, but I thought I'd visit the other 2 systems anyway. So I managed to find the Orion in HR 6524, but couldn't do any interaction with it. But in this final destination I found this communication beacon that you can see on the screen now, and this message from Terri, which talks about a locked system, a system that will require a permit lock. That's as far as I've got so far. I think we have to wait until the next reset at the very least before anything further comes out of this. I'll keep you informed. Thank you, Commanders, and good night.